Okay, we're here with Mark David and his Sebago. What's the nomenclature on this?
This is apparently a 1950 Sebago. It's the Sebago Boat and Canoe Company that was based in Portland, Maine in the early 50s, and this is called the Sportsman Runabout, 15-foot boat. And from what I've been told, it was actually made by Corson in Madison.
That's correct. He contracted with Corson to actually make these things. Jerry Corson I talked to about this, and he said what the guy who started the company, I can't remember his name, do you remember what his name was? No? Well, anyhow, he had Jerry build a whole lot of, his older brother build a whole lot of these transoms back here.
Yeah, and it's right in there.
Put the serial numbers on them so the guy could get money from the bank to build the boats. So there were a pile of transoms and no boats for quite a while. The guy was a bit of a bad boy. And on it is a Mark 7. That was the same engine as the KE4.
Yeah,
they just changed it to make it in line with the new Mark models. Yeah, and this one has an interesting, has the elephant, what they call the elephant leg, I think, manifold on it, right here.
Oh.
And it's supposed to be quite a bit quieter than the original ones. The original ones came from the earlier Mercuries, the ones that had no shrouds on them. This one does not have the shroud either, but that's because the guy didn't bother to put it on. Shame on you, Mark. All right, so he's fixed the engine up. That's a good running rebuild.
This was in pretty rough shape from one of the Pine Tree Boat Club auctions, and everything was seized, and so it's been totally gone through pretty much all new bearings, new rings on the pistons.
All right.
And so totally rebuilt, and seems to, but most of all the parts were there for it. So it's.
And how about the boat? You've done a very nice job on it.
Well, the person before me had done a fair amount of work on it, and then he couldn't continue, and so I took it. He had done a lot of the sanding and stuff, and I finished up, did varnish the interior, finished sanding it, put it back together. It had spread apart because it had been sitting without the seats for quite a few years. So I was able to pull it back together and get the original seats back in, and then painted the outside as well. And
so the outside, is that glass on there or is that canvas?
I'm not really sure. I don't think it's glass. He had some friends working on it, and he said they put a layer of fiberglass resin on it, which I'm not sure why.
Huh.
But I think it still might be the original canvas. I'm not really sure.
Huh.
I didn't go through it.
Does it leak?
Solid enough. It does not leak.
Well, and that's that's all you can ask for. It looks nice. It looks like a fairly fair finish. I mean, these things weren't fiberglass taken out of a mold. They were wooden and covered with canvas or cloth or whatever they did, and it doesn't look all that what we're used to, a perfect smoothness, but it's a nice job. All right, well, let's take her out for a spin, see how it comes. Here we are in Mark David's boat, Sebago boat, with a Mark 7. And we have the crew, Fosti. Here we go. Awesome. Okay, idle it down. It'll do it. Lower. Lower. We're fishing for togue, dude. Lower. Oh. All right. Mark 7 doing super duty as a towboat. Frosty says, this is the end of the show.
That's all.
Goodbye.